Every night, the dream is vivid, clear, real. You can feel it. But every morning, the same routine, the same job, the same excuses, the same "I'll start Monday." And Monday becomes next month becomes next year, and one day, you look up and realize the dream is still exactly where you left it. But you are not the same. Time has passed, and time is the one thing you cannot get back. Today we go inside the exact psychology of why people who dream the biggest often do the least. And more importantly, exactly how to break the cycle permanently, before it's too late. Reason number 1. You have mistaken planning for progress. Here is what neuroscience discovered about planning. When you write down a goal and plan how to achieve it, your brain releases dopamine. The same dopamine released when you actually achieve something. Your brain literally cannot tell the difference between planning success and achieving it. This is why you can spend 3 hours creating the perfect business plan, and then feel too tired to actually do anything. The planning satisfied the brain's reward system, the urgency evaporated, and the notebook goes in the drawer with all the other plans. The solution? Act before you plan completely. Give yourself a maximum of 20 minutes to plan the next step. Then execute it before planning the one after. Action creates real momentum. Planning creates the feeling of momentum. They are not the same thing. Reason number 2. You think you're afraid of failing. You're actually afraid of something much more complicated. Success brings real consequences, new responsibilities, higher expectations from everyone around you. The pressure of maintaining what you've built. Relationships that change. A comfort zone you can never fully return to. Your subconscious knows this, and sometimes it decides that staying where you are is safer than dealing with all of that. Starting and failing, you return to your comfortable known life. Starting and succeeding, everything changes permanently. For many people, the known discomfort of staying stuck is less frightening than the unknown discomfort of genuine success. The reframe: success is not a cliff you jump off all at once. It is a staircase. Each step only requires you to handle what that step demands. You don't need to be ready for the 10th step. You only need to be ready for the next one. Reason number 3. The dream itself has become the destination, not the motivation to reach it. Research from New York University found something disturbing about positive visualization. When people vividly imagined achieving their goal, their brain registered a version of that achievement neurologically. They felt the reward without doing the work, and that feeling reduced their actual motivation to pursue the real goal. If your dream consistently makes you feel good without making you take action, it has stopped being a goal. It has become entertainment, a comfortable mental vacation from the life you haven't built yet. The solution is called WOOP: wish, outcome, obstacle, plan. Don't just visualize the dream. Visualize the specific obstacle standing between you and the next step. Then make a specific plan to overcome that obstacle. Research shows this approach generates dramatically more real-world action than positive visualization alone. Reason number 4. The dream requires you to become someone different, and your current identity is fighting to stay alive. Your current identity has beliefs attached to it. I'm not the kind of person who. People like me don't. That's not realistic for someone in my situation. These are not observations about reality. They are the immune system of your current identity, defending itself against the change the dream would require. If your dream requires you to become a business owner, but your identity is, I'm an employee, every action toward the dream creates an internal conflict. If your dream requires wealth, but your identity includes people like me struggle financially, acquiring wealth feels like a betrayal of who you are. The solution is to change the identity before trying to change the behavior. Stop saying, I'm trying to exercise more. Start saying, I am someone who moves their body every day. The identity statement, repeated and acted on, gradually becomes true. You behave consistently with who you believe yourself to be. Reason number 5. Someday is not a day of the week, but you've been putting your dream there for years. When I have more money, when I have more time, when things calm down, when I feel ready. These conditions are mirages. They move away as you approach them. More money creates more responsibilities. More time never appears. Things never calm down. And ready is a feeling that action creates, not a prerequisite for it. Every year you wait, the gap between where you are and where you want to be gets wider. Not just because time passes, but because the person who starts today will have a year of learning, failure, growth, and momentum that the person who starts next year will not. The cost of waiting is not zero, it compounds. The solution is ruthless specificity. Not, I'll start soon. I will take the first action this Thursday at 7 p.m. Not, someday I'll write that book. I will write 200 words every morning starting tomorrow. Specificity transforms intention into commitment, and commitment is the only thing that produces action. Reason number 6. You haven't started because you're waiting for the conditions to be perfect. They will never be perfect. Perfectionism is not about quality. It is about safety. If you never start, you never fail. If you never publish, it can never be rejected. If you never begin, the dream stays perfect and untested inside your head. Perfectionism is procrastination wearing the costume of high standards. The person who ships imperfect work consistently beats the perfectionist every single time. Because imperfect work in the world generates feedback, builds skills, creates momentum, and gets better. Perfect work that never leaves your head generates nothing. Adopt the 80% rule. When something is 80% ready, release it. The remaining 20% cannot be achieved in isolation. It can only be achieved through real-world feedback, iteration, and experience. Done and imperfect is the beginning of mastery. Perfect and unstarted is the end of possibility. Reason number 7. Your life is comfortable enough that the pain of staying is less than the pain of changing. Your brain runs a constant cost-benefit analysis. Is the potential upside of pursuing this dream worth the certain discomfort of starting? When you're comfortable enough, the brain's answer is usually no. Not dramatically no, just enough no to choose Netflix over the business plan one more time. The danger of comfortable enough is that it doesn't feel like a problem. There's no crisis forcing change. No bottom to hit. Just a slow drift through a life that's fine, while the dream waits, and eventually stops waiting. The solution: make the cost of staying more painful than the cost of starting. Sit with the 10-year vision of not having started. Feel what that future actually feels like. The regret, the what if, the watching others build what you only dreamed about. Let that feeling become more present than the comfort of today. Reason number 8. The people around you have been slowly convincing you that your dream is not realistic, and you've been slowly believing them. Most of the people discouraging you are not doing it maliciously. They love you, they're scared for you, and they're projecting their own fears and limitations onto your potential. Their ceiling has become the template for what they believe is possible, for you and for anyone. Do an environment audit. Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? What do they believe about ambition, risk, and what's possible? Because whether you realize it or not, you have been absorbing those beliefs, and those beliefs are now partly running your decision-making. Find one voice, just one, that operates at the level of your dream. A mentor, a community, a podcast, a book, someone who has done what you want to do. One voice that says, "This is possible, and here's how," changes the entire internal conversation. You compared your beginning to someone else's middle, and decided not to start. You see their year 5, polished, successful, confident, established. You compare it to your day 1, uncertain, imperfect, unproven, scared, and the gap feels so large that starting seems pointless. But you never saw their day 1, which looked exactly like yours. Every person you admire had a day 1, a moment when they were exactly where you are, uncertain, unproven, and starting from nothing. The only difference between you and them right now is not talent. It is not intelligence. It is not luck. It is that they started, and they kept going. Reason number 10, and this one is the hardest to admit. The identity of someone who has a big dream provides real social and psychological rewards. People find you interesting. You have something to point to. You maintain a sense of possibility. And you never have to risk discovering that you might not be able to pull it off. The dream protects you, as long as you never test it. Ask yourself honestly, am I pursuing this dream, or am I performing the identity of someone who has this dream? Because there is a profound difference between the two, and only you know the honest answer. The shift is simple but profound. Stop announcing the dream. Start working on it quietly. Let the results be the announcement. The person who is truly building something rarely talks about it constantly. They are too busy building. So, what actually works? Here is a system built on everything we've covered. Component 1. The next action rule. Never write down a goal. Always write down the next specific action. Not work on my book. Write 200 words tonight at 8 p.m. Not get healthy. Walk for 15 minutes after dinner. Specific, small, immediate, executable. Component 2. The 15-minute commitment. Commit to 15 minutes per day, nothing more. The bar is so low that there is no legitimate excuse not to do it. And what you'll discover is that 15 minutes almost always becomes 30, then 60, then 2 hours. Starting is the entire battle. Component 3. Tell one person one specific action you will take by a specific date. Not your whole dream, just the next step. The social accountability of having told someone activates a completely different level of commitment than keeping it private. Component 4. Weekly Evidence Review. Every Sunday, look only at what you actually did toward your dream this week. Not what you planned, not what you intended, what you did. The evidence of actual action becomes more motivating than any vision board, because it is real. 2 versions of you. One who kept dreaming, one who started, imperfectly, uncertainly, messily, but started. Research on end-of-life regret consistently finds the same thing. People do not regret the things they tried and failed. They regret the things they never tried, the dream they never tested, the version of themselves they never gave a chance to exist. The dream is not the problem. The dream is the raw material. The question has never been whether the dream is big enough. The question is whether you are willing to be imperfect, uncomfortable, uncertain, and consistent enough to find out what it becomes. Subscribe to Mind Mastery. Drop a comment. Which reason hit you the hardest? And more importantly, what is the one action you're taking today? I read every single one.